Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi replied to the 72 hours no confidence motion yesterday. It was a 2 hours, 20-minute speech, out of which he barely spoke on Manipur for 10 minutes. And what he said was he assured the people of Manipur that the nation stands with them and soon the peace will return. Now, the remaining part of the speech, if you look at Prime Minister's speech, the remaining part was spent on attacking Congress, the previous UPA governments, and the India alliance, after which the opposition parties staged a walkout almost after 1 hour, 40 minutes. And at the end of the speech, leader of the Congress in Lok Sabha, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, was suspended for making obnoxious remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, the question we are asking, what has this no confidence motion really achieved for the government and for the opposition? Was it an opportunity which was wasted? And how will it unfold in the coming days? Joining me now is Congress Lok Sabha MP Karti Chidambaram. Thank you so much, Karti, for joining on the Federal. Karti, my first question to you is, I really need your reaction on Prime Minister's speech yesterday. What do you really have to say? And now, of course, that Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has also been suspended, and today is the last day of the House.
You see, the reason why we brought the no confidence motion was to force the Prime Minister to come to the floor of the House. The Prime Minister steadfastly was being adamant in not coming to the floor of the House and making a brief statement. That's all we expected, a brief statement about Manipur, which was the raging issue since the beginning of the Parliament session, especially after the viral video came out where 2 women were molested, raped, and brutalized. It's a shocking incident. And we expected the Prime Minister to come and make a statement at the floor of the House telling us what his government was doing to bring the situation back to normalcy. But the Prime Minister steadfastly refused to do that. So the only other tool we had was to force a no confidence motion, fully knowing well that the numbers are stacked against us. I mean, this is a known fact. This is not something which is unknown to us. But we needed him to come to the House. He came to the House, but instead of addressing the issue of the day, he dwelled into whataboutery, into complete spin doctrine about, attacking us, going back into history. I mean, it's the BJP standard response every time we bring up an issue is to either raise either to point fingers saying this happened during the Congress's time, this happened during the Nehru's time, this happened during the East India Company, this happened during the Mughal period. This is how they do. They do not. They are completely operating with a rear view mirror. They don't have a view of the future. They don't have a view of what is happening right now. They don't comment about it. And exactly the Prime Minister, as I said, I made a brief comment yesterday saying that the debate about who the greatest Indian spinner ended yesterday. It is not Bishan Singh Bedi, it is not Prasanna, it is not Venkat Raghavan, it is not Chandrasekhar, it is not Kumble, it is not Ravichandran Ashwin. It is this BJP government led by this Prime Minister. Because it's all spin doctrine completely.
Right. Karti, honestly, everybody knew that, Prime Minister's response is going to be very, very predictable. He will indulge in whataboutery. And that's what he did, is what you're saying, that, he tried to spin the situation and he didn't dwell too much on Manipur. This was actually predicted and everybody knew that he would do this. So what has this no confidence motion achieved at the end of the day, except for the fact that you forced the Prime Minister to come back with, again, a thumping speech, in the sense that, he's used this opportunity, he's used this the House just to convert it into a poll stage. Apart from this,
this speech is not going to win over anybody. Maybe his committed base will be solidified. That's all. But this is not going to win over anybody. I don't think he won any argument over with his statesman-like behavior. What we expect the Prime Minister to be, especially somebody who claims to be a global leader now, is to be statesman-like when he comes here. But that was completely and sorely lacking from the Prime Minister's speech yesterday.
People do feel that opposition parties could have better coordinated this no confidence motion, because many political commentators yesterday said that it actually turned the whole event into a confidence motion for Narendra Modi. Do you feel so?
No, you see, the numbers are stacked against us. There's no pressure on the government. They themselves have 303 in their own party, then put together their committed allies and their secret allies who always come in at a cinch, particularly the YSR Congress. and the BJD, which always seems to stand up and help them out, the numbers were very much with them. We are aware of that, but that is not the point. The point was to force the Prime Minister, was being adamant. This whole thing need not have happened had the Prime Minister in the early stages of this parliamentary session decided to come to Parliament, make a suo motu statement for 5 minutes about what is happening in Manipur and what his government was doing to bring the situation back to normal, and then said, let's have a freewheeling discussion and we'll take your comments. And if the statesman like thing would have been, let's send an all-party delegation, which included the NDA and the India Alliance, instead of us just going alone. But the Prime Minister did not have any engagement with us. That is my biggest quibble with this government. There is hardly any engagement across party lines and across partisan lines. And a statesman like Prime Minister would have done that in this instance.
Karti, when it came to Manipur, all the time, Prime Minister during his speech kept on saying that Amit Shah has explained the situation in Manipur enough. What does that mean? That he just gave a very generalized statement. He painted Manipur with the entire northeastern brush, saying that, look, this is what we've done in Northeast. All what we've done in 9 years was not done by the Congress. What would you really say when he's...
There's nothing specific about the
responsibility in a way to
violence.
Amit Shah, that, look, Amit Shah has already explained, I don't need to do it.
The violence is continuing even today. People are displaced even today. There is unease there even today. The lone member from Manipur voiced his opinion against the government yesterday, even though he didn't apparently raise his hands. He said he was supporting the no confidence motion, the lone member from Manipur. That speaks volumes. So the fact is, to brush this aside and to blame the previous Congress government for this, first and foremost, this particular chief minister himself is a Congress import. He's a Congress import who the BJP has lapped up. So to keep on blaming us is actually immature. The point is, there is a crisis today. How do we deal with the crisis? How do we give a healing touch? How do we carry the nation together? And how do we take everybody into confidence should have been the focus. And unfortunately, that did not happen yesterday.
Coming to Rahul Gandhi's speech and the manner in which Prime Minister Narendra Modi responded to him, do you think Rahul Gandhi's speech could have been better, because people were expecting that it's going to be a comeback speech after his reinstatement in Lok Sabha, rather than, indulging in that incisive attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, what he did? And I think the point did reach home. And it did reach the point where for which it was meant to. But people were expecting more out of Rahul Gandhi's speech that day. Do you think Rahul Gandhi fell short on content?
See, his speech was very, very precise about the Manipur issue. It basically said that what is happening in Manipur will have an impact all over India. This is just the beginning point. I think he made that point articulately. And that point rung home. There was no abuse of the Prime Minister. I don't know, where is this imaginary abuse coming from? Everybody is very respectful whenever we address the Prime Minister. Where is this imaginary abuse of the Prime Minister coming up from? I mean, I have not seen one specific instance where they can point out to say the Prime Minister has been abused. To say that the Prime Minister is head of the government and what is happening under him and he's morally responsible, that's not abuse. That's just pointing out the responsibility you have. So I don't know where this imaginary complex comes from.
But, there is a feeling that opposition didn't coordinate well. There were speeches which were made, and even opposition indulged in whataboutery. Rather than spending more time on Manipur, even the opposition made this whole no confidence motion all about the larger issues.
No confidence motion is not only about the Manipur issue. The Manipur issue was a trigger, but this is an opportunity for us to point out their failings in other sectors as well. While they tom the fact that we've become the third largest economy, you got to look at our ranking in terms of per capita income. I mean, it's the duty of the opposition to point this out. If the opposition does not hold a mirror, what else are we going to hold? Otherwise, it's just going to be one whole session of self-praise. And this is what is happening. It's becoming a personality cult. Self-praise is what is happening on the other side. So at least, I know our numbers are not with us, but it's our duty to hold the mirror on all issues, while Manipur was the trigger to bring this no confidence motion.
But each time the opposition raises an issue, and even if you bring about a no confidence motion, we've seen, of course, the numbers are not with you, and it was the whole motion was defeated with a voice vote. Now, what is the option left with the opposition parties? How are you going to go to the people, tell them that, look, this is what is happening? Because if there is so much whataboutery on the part of the government, and they have consolidated troll army behind them, how are you going to really spin the narrative, which is going to be in favor?
See, first and foremost, while we'll need to consolidate our front, and secondly, we need to come up with a positive agenda. I don't believe that elections can be only won by a mere attack of the government. Yes, we will attack the government, we will point fingers at them, we will hold a mirror to them, but it's very important that we come up with a positive agenda. And also, there is a tremendous amount of toxicity which is being injected into society today, and it's happening there with this bulldozer justice and kind of violence which is breaking out sporadically in the northern parts of India. So we need to travel there, we need to win people's confidence, and we need to also, I mean, most importantly, we need to come up with a clear, precise, communicable, positive messaging, and that is very, very, very important.
But you said that we need to bring about a positive agenda. Now, how much time will the opposition really take to bring about a positive agenda? Because not much time is left for the elections. And whatever agenda the opposition parties bring, it has to percolate in the minds of the people. Don't you
I think we should do it. I think we should do it rather quick. I think we should do it rather quickly. There is going to be another meeting in Bombay. I hope that we will, we'll come up with the strategies rather quickly. We've learned this from Karnataka. We've learned this where we start communicating our agenda much earlier than the elections. It seems to pay dividends. And I completely believe that. I don't think we should just come up during the election campaign and say what we're going to do. I think we need to have a 6-month lead-up time for that. And I think there are many lessons we have learned from the Karnataka victory, and I think we will apply that. I'm hopeful that the leadership, this is a question beyond my pay grade, but hopefully this will happen.
But the confidence with which Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that I am going to return for the third time, bring India amongst the top 3 economies in the world, like what he said yesterday and also previously, the common man on the street feels that aayega to Modi hi. So how is the opposition going to really inspire the people in your favor then? In the opposition.
The fact that we'll become the 3rd largest economy is a natural progression because we are the largest population in the world. But what we really need to look at is the per capita income. And we should be communicating that. Yes, while India's GDP has grown, but the average person's per capita is not growing in an equal measure. And we'll have to communicate that in simple terms for people to understand. For him to believe that he's going to come back, he's at a liberty to do that. I mean, anybody contesting elections, I've never met a candidate in my life who believes he's not going to win an election. Even an independent candidate always believes he's going to win an election. That's fair enough. But that's how you need to go into elections. We believe you'll win. And if you think that, this is a done deal, this is not a done deal. It's definitely not a done deal in Tamil Nadu, where I know the pushback against Narendra Modi's brand of politics is very, very high. And I know that they are not going to have any dividends in Tamil Nadu. So we have to look at it state by state. We'll have to look at consolidating the alliance. We'll have to look at giving a positive message. Why we'll hold a mirror to them. It is very important that we convey to the people a positive message and what will be different in a dispensation under us. That's something which we need to really say. We have to secure people. We have to tell them this toxicity will go, the growth will be egalitarian, there will be no crony capitalism, and our focus will be on the average man, not on the large oligarchs and the conglomerates. And that is where our messaging should go. We are for economic progress, but for economic progress for all. We are for justice for all. We are looking for fairness for all, and a fairer and a more egalitarian delivery system in everything we do.
But Karti, what I don't understand is that if you've seen the Prime Minister's speech very carefully, each time Rahul Gandhi talks about nafrat ke bazaar mein mohabbat ki dukaan, Prime Minister starts pointing out the internal contradictions within the India alliance. Say, for example, why has Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, or rather, for that matter, Congress has joined hands with the left forces? Why has Mamata Banerjee come closer to the left? So these contradictions are being pointed out by JP.
Any political alliance will have contradictions. Is the NDA completely united? Is the ADMK and the BJP on a page on everything together? Is the ADMK subscribing to the uniform civil code which the BJP wants to bring? Is the ADMK subscribing to everything, the toxicity of the BJP? I think not. So when multiple political parties come together, there will be contradictions. If there are no contradictions, all of us can become one political party. We can all merge into each other. Why does the BJP parade a 36 party alliance as an NDA the 2 days after we did? If they believe that all alliances are only full of contradictions, they should do away with. They talk about dynastic politics, but who have they all inducted in? If Chirag Pawan comes into their fold, he's not a dynast. If he leaves us, he's a dynast. If Ajit Pawar comes into them, he's welcome and he's an asset. If he's against them, he's corrupt. I mean, this whataboutery and this tactic of the BJP is clearly seen. That if they don't believe in an alliance, why parade this 36 party, so-called 36 party alliance in front of the media 2 days after we met in Bangalore?
Right.
So internal contradictions will always be there. Political parties have different agendas, but we'll have to sync those agendas for a larger common purpose. A larger common purpose. It's happened in politics all the time. It's happened in World War II. How did Russia and America come together to take on the Nazi might? It happens. So people will have to sink in minor differences. Yes, there will be local competition. There will be local competing interests. It needs maturity and large-heartedness to make this alliance work. I completely understand that. But
Karti,
all alliances are like that.
Right. But Karti, there is a feeling that opposition needs newer and innovative strategies to counter Narendra Modi. Now, say, for example, the opposition parties staged a walkout. After 1 hour, 40 minutes of speech, you all staged a walkout. Was that strategy right? Because Prime Minister Narendra Modi pointed this out, that look, they cannot they cannot listen to the truth. Why not sit inside the house and listen to whatever he's saying?
For the Prime Minister to somehow come up and say that we don't face the truth, he should also be somebody who respects Parliament and come to Parliament often enough. I mean, I think his attendance is a matter of record, and people will realize how often he comes to Parliament and when he speaks. In fact, there's a joke going around that he speaks in international parliaments far more than he speaks in the Indian Parliament. No, I'm not subscribing to that with data, but that's a joke going around. So he should come and engage with Parliament. He must engage with us, and then there will be greater engagement. The fact is, for the first 90 minutes, it was only whataboutery and political posturing without addressing the elephant in the room, which was Manipur. And that is why, in order to protest that, we went away. We completely understand the numbers are stacked against us. We know that. Nobody needs to tell us that. I mean, we are thinking people too.
But the last 2-3 questions, and then I'll wind up the interview. I know you have to rush to the Parliament. That there is a feeling that no matter how much effort the opposition puts in, the common man on the street still is saying, "Aayega to Modi hi."
Well, first of all, if you said whatever you said in Hindi, it will make no sense to anybody in the street from Sabha. It won't make any sense to anybody in Tamil Nadu. They don't say that. So let's not brush the entire India, or just not brush the Hindi part of India as India itself. There are many Indias, and India speaks in many voices. And I hear the voices in Tamil Nadu loud and clear. And they don't want the Hindi Hindutva brand of politics with BJP. So I don't believe that this is some narrative which is running right from Kanyakumari to Kashmir and from Porbandar to Assam. It's not. It's not. And I think Delhi media also needs to step out of its comfort zone and travel to places of India which speak languages other than Hindi, and then you will understand the sentiments of India better. So I don't think it's a done deal. Elections are won and lost only when the last vote is counted. And I think that if we put together a good alliance with a positive agenda, and I'm sure that the people of India will give us their faith and confidence.
One thing which I really wanted to ask you was that yesterday, BJP government brought in a bill on the selection panel of the appointment of the chief election commissioner and the election commissioners. What do you think? Is it really the end of free and fair elections? How would you really see this bill? Are the opposition parties going to file a writ challenging this this law?
While we will not only go to court, but we'll also take it to the people. That's another example of centralization of power, of weakening independent institutions. And there been institutional capture is happening all the time. I mean, as it is, I would not say the Election Commission is completely free and independent. Even whatever semblance and remnants of freedom it had would go away. Now with this move, two ministers from the BJP, the minister and the prime minister, who would be from the same political party, which is the dominant political party at this time, the BJP, will have a free run to choose. The leader of the opposition or the leader of the largest party in the Lok Sabha would actually have no say, none whatsoever. There is no neutrality in this.
Right.
And we will take this to the people. This is yet another thing for us to communicate to the people about institutional collapse and capture.
Karti, you're saying that you will challenge the law in the court. Now, the point is that by the time the hearings take place, I think the 2024 elections will be over.
I'm not sure. I can't predict how the Supreme Court or how the pace in which these matters will be heard. I really don't. I'm not the master of the role, so I don't really know that. But we will not only challenge it in the courts, but we'll also take it into the public forum. These are things which will resonate with the people. These kind of institutional collapse and capture are issues which will resonate with the people. The BJP, which keeps on pointing to us how the Congress was punished post emergency must also learn lessons from this kind of institutional capture and capture which they are attempting to do right now.
Thank you so much, Karti. It was wonderful having you on the program. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this interview, subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to the Federal. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.